What's going on YouTube? StealingLikes here, and you guys have caught me once again handing the cookie jar out here trying to snatch me some likes. And welcome back to another Subscriber Sunday. Now, bringing a kind of interesting team this week, or at least one that I find interesting, as I'm bringing along everybody's favorite Pikachu, the Charizard that no one got to see do anything yesterday, along with Sableye, my Reuniclus, Mienshao, and Cloyster. Obviously because I've seen a lot of the common things, so I definitely wanted to bring that Cloyster just to deal with things like Weakness Policy Dragonite, whom I really don't want to have any problems from today. Now, I'm going to go ahead and hit the challenge button, as I got a lot of requests to build sets over the last week, or at least suggestions on sets, things of that nature. So I'm going to hit up the first one. I think it was Nick Jones. Oh, the first one's Darkness. Darkness wanted me to build out a Rotom Wash, and he wanted to know my suggested set for Rotom Wash, what I would do with one personally, because everybody knows I run Heat Rotom. Now, the question came down to, and I never got a chance to ask him, I figured it'd be more fun to do it this way anyway, is which Rotom he'd rather go with, because Rotom can swing as an attacker or a defender, because it's rather bulky and capable of swinging either way with the proper nature and effort value. Now, my first opponent here, bringing a Cloyster, Gardevoir, Talonflame, Gengar, Absol, and Flygon. I obviously want to bring Cloyster. I'm really thinking about leading with the Cloyster, although they could lead with the Gengar, and that would just be a bad day. So instead, what I want to do, I think I want to lead... Who would just really not care about Gengar? Because I really didn't bring a lot of answers for it in particular. But I think Gengar probably wouldn't like Sableye. Maybe. Maybe, maybe not. It depends. Seeing as Gengar Gardevoir are the only Mega potential Pokemon here, I'm going to lead with Sableye. I'm going to bring Pikachu, and then I'm going to follow up with Cloyster, because I feel like Cloyster's got a lot of potential right here. Obviously, Pika Pika could be ruined by the Flygon quite actually, no. It would be the Absol that would concern me more, or the Talonflame. But I'm going to go ahead and confirm that. Now, the two builds that I came up with for Rotom are as follows. For the defensive build of Rotom, and obviously I didn't go into items specifically because everybody has different preferences on pretty much everything. Now, for the defensive version of Rotom, if you're going to carry a negative item, I would toss out the Trick, especially since I know everybody likes to run Choice Scarf Rotom with Trick, because you can lock your opponent in on moves, take their items, do fun things of that nature. Now, my opponent led Cloyster, and they probably aren't too terribly happy that I led with Sableye. They probably think, I mean, if I were them, I'd think that this is your typical hateful little Sableye. If they brought Gardevoir, they're going to switch right here, but I'm going to go for the knockoff. It's stab neutral. They go for a Water Pulse. And wow, what in the world? I realized that cannon was quite capable. I didn't realize it was that capable. Now, right here, I'm going to go into Pikachu. I am going to set up the agility since I have no idea what else my opponent has back there. Even though he could fry Pikachu pretty quick. No, I'm gonna set up the agility though. He does withdraw, allowing me to set up. And goes out into... Oh, I just realized that Absol is completely capable of doing terrible things to this Pikachu. However, Flygon is probably going to go for the kill right here. I'm alright with that. I'm going to Endure. And just kind of set Pikachu up to do nice things. If they do have Absol, Pikachu is going to have a huge problem right here. Let's see. Yep. They obviously knocked me all the way down to 1, which would be the idea. I'm going for the Flail. Oh, they have Gengar. That was kind of dumb of me. I just realized that Gengar could completely have come. However, I will be able to get off a Volt Tackle before going down if Gengar's the next one out. Nope, that's Cloyster. Cloyster is going to be highly unhappy with this. Unless... Oh, he's got an Aqua Jet. Well, doesn't this Cloyster have some problems for me? I didn't realize it could pack one. So, It's down to, I believe, Reuniclus and Clawitzer. Oh no, it's Cloyster. Well, that's not good. That's terrible. Because Clawitzer is going to take most of my hits like a champ. Let me think here. If their last Pokemon is Talonflame, I think I'm doomed. But I'm going to go for the Rock Blast anyway. Because it's not like an Icicle Spear is really going to hurt this thing's feelings anyway. Now, that was a crit. That's bad. Cloyster getting off all of its hits, even though I'm going to have to rely on that Life Orb for the kill. They go for an Aura Sphere. Oh, wait, that's a special attacker. That completely just murdered my Cloyster. Now, taking a loss in tonight's first battle, I didn't even really get a chance to talk much about the Rotom, but I'm going to go ahead and get into that just a little bit as soon as we get back with round number 2. I just realized that I have way more Pokemon to talk about than just this, so I've got to be able to make sure and multitask on this one. Now, you guys sit tight for about 5 seconds. I already hit that challenge button, so aside from the trick and, you know, obviously switching an item with your opponent, what I would go with, Will-O-Wisp, either a Light Screen or a Reflect, depending on which side your party or your team as a whole is really dealing with more problems on, and then a Hydro Pump, because obviously you don't want to be taunt bait, and it's a nice move. It really is. Now, this opponent brought Azumarill, Medicham, Drapion, Talonflame, I know that Pokemon's typing, I can't remember its name, and then Tyranitar, what is it, Shellos? I don't know. But looking over my team and their team, obviously, I'm looking at Azumarill and Talonflame as real problems. They are quite possibly real big problems. So, knowing that Azumarill and Talonflame are in fact issues, I've got to bring Pikachu and Cloyster. But as for the rest of the team, I'm not seeing a lot of team weakness here. I'm thinking about bringing this Charizard. Just because Azumarill would be the only thing I wouldn't want to see out of this. Now, I'm actually going to lead Pikachu because I don't want to see that Azumarill do anything at all ever. And I don't know. Mienshao might actually be a better call for this because Pikachu relatively flat on dimensions with some of this. Now, clearly I'm bringing the Cloyster because Talonflame's a huge problem. But Cloyster really doesn't help out with a lot outside of that. Maybe a neutral on that little water ground type there. Bringing the Charizard is kind of dumb. I'm going to do it anyway. I am going to do it anyway. Now, for the offensive set for that Pokemon, we get into a Hydro Pump, Hex, Will-O-Wisp, and Thunderbolt. Now, I know a lot of people have seen me, especially in Battle Spot, Will-O-Wisp follow it up with a Hex. You can actually get a nice switch in and kill on certain Pokemon just running the Hex. Because obviously, well, this is not the best situation for me. Knowing that this Talonflame is capable of doing some really terrible things. I know I resist. It's Brave Bird. I really want to save this thing, though. I really do. I'm going to go for the Volt Tackle. I'm sure nobody realized that I pack it because I never use it. But they do withdraw. Do they go into... Where's my opponent from? These Pokemon names are all in Japanese. They go into Drapion. Now, Drapion's going to take that relatively well. Thinking about doing it again. However, I think... Yeah, I can't really set up an Agility and an Endure here. And I don't remember Drapion's base speed, which is kind of a problem, because I do know Pikachu is relatively quick. However, I think it's a bit of a... Oh, they're going to go for a knockoff. Yeah, I'll go for the Volt Tackle. Oh, they don't go for the knockoff. They go for an Earthquake. Huh. I'm shocked. So now, I've got to come in with something nifty, and I think that niftiness has got to be Charizard. They could pack stones on this thing, but I'm not really seeing it. And I know that Talonflame's not going to be the next one in. If they have Azumarill, it's going to be Azumarill who comes out right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a Swords Dance and just see what this Drapion's all about. They go for a Poison Jab. Okay, I can go with that. Now, I get poisoned. They take some Life Orb damage. I go for the Swords Dance. Now, right here is where things get interesting. I think they're going to stick around. I really think they're going to stick around. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to roost up. They go for yet another Poison Jab. Obviously looking to try and get the kill on this Charizard. They are close. They are ridiculously close. Now, after that roost, I should be in a pretty decent range. The only problem is that Azumarill, I know it's packing an Aqua Jet. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to roost up again. They're going to go for the taunt and stop me from roosting. That is all bad. Did not see that coming. Obviously, Charizard is doomed now, because after it takes that poison damage, it's just not going to feel too terribly good. Drapion being faster, I could Mega Evolve and see if I take the hit better. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to Mega Evolve, and I'm going to go for a Flame Charge, because it's what I do. Now, I don't know what Drapion went for right here, but I already know it's not an Earthquake. I was holding out this whole time on him just so they didn't think they could do it. Now, let's see how well I take this damage. I don't take it well enough. Charizard goes down. That's upsetting because that Charizard looked like a lot of fun. Now, Drapion goes down as well. Oh, yeah. Duh. So, getting back into the Pokemon that everybody asked me about. I did say Thunderbolt. Hydro Pump, Hex, Will-O-Wisp, Thunderbolt. Yeah. Now, up next, Nick Jones asked me about a Porygon Z build. Now, Nick, unfortunately, I'm going to make you wait because I've actually been working on a Porygon Z. Namely, just so, you know, obviously I can do some fun things with it. I feel like it's Pokemon who a lot of people use it for weird things. Now, Azumarill first out. I'm going to go for Rock Blast because I'm choiced, and I pretty much have no option to win unless I go for Rock Blast this whole time. However, Azumarill is doomed to ever get a shot at outspeeding me. Now, I mean, I'm assuming this is a Belly Drum thing. That Play Rough, that hurt a little bit more than I expected. However, going for yet another Rock Blast. I'm not surprised they didn't Belly Drum because there's no real need for them to do it. Oh, I missed the Rock Blast, so that's going to be my second to last attack. I think that this Azumarill's got me done. Now, for the next Pokemon in this one, let's see here. Nick also asked me, I think it was Nick, asked me about what fighting type move to put on a Metagross. I'd go with a Brick Break, personally, just because, I mean, obviously it takes down screens. But aside from that, it is the strongest fighting type move that Metagross can get besides Hammer Arm, and he was concerned with reducing his speed. Now, other Pokemon that got some interesting mentions in here, he wanted to ask me about what to do with a Krogunk. He's got a Poison Touch Krogunk. He gave me the egg moves that it has on it. Unfortunately, I don't like a lot of those moves. Like you guys know, I don't run a lot of Fake Out. I don't run a lot of like Astonish. I don't run Astonish. But what I do run, and what I like for Krogunk, Poison Jab, Sucker Punch, Drain Punch, and Power Up Punch if you're Poison Touch. Now, why I picked those very specific moves, obviously some people would take the Swords Dance over Power Up Punch any day of the week. However, the Power Up Punch with Poison Touch is going to give you a 30% shot at poisoning your opponent. It's also going to let you get that attack buff and get off a little bit of stab damage, all of which is fun. It gives you a lot of options right there. Now, in addition to that, the Poison Jab is going to give you 30% chance to poison and a 30% chance to poison, which sounds like a 60% chance. It's not. I think it's closer to like a 48 or something of that nature. But that's another fun one if you just really need to poison something. I know fairies don't like it. Now, the Drain Punch is obvious, just so that you can heal yourself. You get some stab damage off. All great things right there. And then the Sucker Punch as some strong priority. I liked it more than his Krogunk has Bullet Punch as an egg move. However, I do like the Sucker Punch more just because both aren't stab. And obviously the Sucker Punch, way better base power, which allows you to get off a lot better damage on anything that's not going to resist one or the other. Now, without further ado, I am going to get out of here. You guys have a nice night. I hope you like the suggested moves for those Pokemon, and I hope you enjoyed these battles. I will see you tomorrow with 2 more.